A private family argument rarely becomes a national spectacle. But when one side is a sitting senator and the other is a Nollywood star, that private argument can suddenly test the nation's ideas about power, fame, and justice itself.
That's the powerful line from actress Yvonne Jagere. And really, it captures how so many people saw this situation. A straightforward moral fight between the powerful and the vulnerable. A time to speak up, not stay silent.
And that's where this story gets complicated. Welcome to Africa Watch 360. Calm, clear, and focused news you can trust. We look deeper so you understand better.
To make sense of this, we're going to walk through it step by step. We'll look at how this private issue became public, why the arrest caused such an uproar, how the public was split right down the middle, what was going on with the legal system, and finally, what this all tells us about power.
Okay, so this all started, like many things do, as a family matter. A marital dispute between actress Regina Daniels and her husband, who is a Nigerian senator. It stayed behind closed doors until her brother, Sammy, went online and made some very serious allegations, including domestic violence.
Now, before this thing went nuclear, there was apparently an attempt to handle it quietly. The senator reportedly laid out two conditions. One, Regina had to come home and go to rehab. And two, this is the big one, her brother Sammy had to publicly take back the abuse allegations. It was all about protecting his reputation. The family's answer? A hard no. They said the allegations were true. And just like that, the battle lines were drawn.
To really get why this became such a big deal, you need to see the power dynamic at play. Think about it like this. It's one thing for two tenants in a building to argue, but it's a completely different situation if one of those tenants also owns the building, makes the rules, and is on a first-name basis with the police. That's the imbalance that had so many people concerned.
So, with the private talks failing, the situation escalated fast. The senator filed a petition with the police. A short time later, Regina's brother was arrested. And that arrest is what poured gasoline on the fire.
Immediately, the family started raising red flags. They claimed this wasn't a normal arrest. They alleged he was picked up in Lagos and flown to Abuja. They said for the first several hours, he was denied a lawyer, he was denied contact with his family, he was even denied food and water. And when they asked what was going on, the reason they were supposedly given was simple: orders from above.
And what really got people talking was just how fast everything moved. I mean, look at this timeline. In about 24 hours, the man was arrested, transported hundreds of kilometers, charged in court, and then transferred to a maximum security prison. That kind of efficiency is, well, it's unusual. And that speed made a lot of people very suspicious.
Of course, this drew some big names into the fray. Actress Mercy Johnson was actually on the ground, going from police station to police station, trying to find him. You could feel her frustration when she asked, "How did we get here, Nigeria?" Her involvement took this from just an online story to a real-world issue that people were paying close attention to.
Then you had another kind of voice, from the veteran entertainer Charlie Boy. His message, in Nigerian Pidgin, was basically saying that wisdom and character are more important than just money and power. He was suggesting that maturity means calming a situation down, not using force to win an argument. It framed the whole thing as a question of character.
As you can imagine, the court of public opinion was in full session. But here's where it gets really interesting. The public wasn't united on this, not at all. People were split, and they were passionate about their side.
So you had two main camps. In one corner were the supporters. For them, this was a clear case of a powerful man using the system to silence his family. It was about standing up to oppression. But in the other corner, you had people who were hesitant. And their hesitation was all about history, specifically Regina Daniels' own history.
What history? Well, people were quick to pull up the receipts. They pointed back to the huge EndSARS protests in 2020. During that time, Regina had posted a video that many saw as dismissive of the protesters. So now people were saying, wait a minute, when we were on the streets fighting, you weren't with us. So why should we be with you now? It created a real sense of hypocrisy for some folks.
Okay, let's step away from the public debate for a second and look at the legal system, because something about this development is more strategic than it appears on the surface. Let's break it down clearly so nobody gets confused.
To get what happened next, you have to understand a key legal point: the difference between police bail and court bail. The police can grant bail, but the second a suspect is formally charged in court, everything changes. The power to grant bail moves from the police to the judge. That shift in authority is absolutely critical. So here's how that legal strategy seems to have worked. The law says the police have to charge a suspect within about 24 hours, or let them go. By rushing to get Sammy charged in court, they followed that rule. But in doing so, they also shifted the power over bail to the court. At that point, the prosecution could argue against bail, and they won. The court ordered him to be held in prison. Every step was technically by the book, but the speed and the outcome led critics to say this wasn't prosecution, it was persecution.
And the result of all that quick legal work? 22. He was ordered to be held in a maximum security prison for 22 days, just to wait for his bail hearing. That's a long time to be behind bars before your case is even really heard.
So let's zoom out and connect the dots. When you put the family drama, the public backlash, and the very specific legal moves all together, you start to see a much bigger picture of strategy and motivation.
If you map it out, every player had a clear goal. The senator was protecting his reputation, the brother was defending his sister, the public figures were fighting what they saw as injustice, and the justice system itself, its stated goal was just to follow procedure. Each person, each institution was playing their part in this complex chess game.
You know, in the middle of all this chaos, there was one surprising moment of grace. Regina shared that her parents, who had been estranged for a long time, actually came together to support her. She said they did it for one reason: their daughter's happiness. It's a small reminder that even in a huge public crisis, there can still be moments of personal connection. Which brings us to the reflection. When you look at this web of family, fame, and law, you have to ask yourself, who is really in the driver's seat here? Is it an individual? Is it public opinion? Is it the legal system itself? And what is the ultimate goal?
And maybe more importantly, what does a case like this mean for the average person who doesn't have fame or influence? What does it say about their access to justice? And what does it tell us about the kind of community and the kind of future that people are trying to build?
If this breakdown gave you clarity, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Let's continue the conversation.